I'm so glad you found your way here. Your body is healing itself right now, repairing damage while you simply exist. Tonight, you'll discover the healing secret researchers are just understanding and learn why your mind and body work tirelessly in silence. By the end, you'll understand why healing never stops, even when you sleep. Welcome to Get Sleepy Science. Wherever you are right now, perhaps wondering about unseen changes happening inside you, or simply feeling your body's quiet work, allow yourself this exploration. We'll journey through 100 psychology facts about invisible healing, from cellular repair happening in darkness, to immune responses you never feel, to the moment consciousness discovers what the body already knows. This thoughtful journey through healing builds bridges between searching minds. A soft like or sharing your thoughts creates a pathway for more healers to discover this sanctuary of calm, one sleepy soul at a time. Your healing journey inspires ours. Let yourself settle completely here. Feel your jaw unclench, your breath deepen naturally. You can let these thoughts drift past without holding them. Sense that soothing heaviness enveloping you, like your consciousness slowly dimming its brightness, thoughts dissolving into the peaceful fog of approaching sleep, safe and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're floating where healing happens in gentle darkness. Let your mind merge with infinite peace. And now we begin. Healing begins the moment you're injured, long before you notice anything changing. Within seconds of a paper cut, your body launches a complex cascade of cellular responses that happen completely outside your conscious awareness. Blood vessels constrict to slow bleeding, platelets rush to form a temporary seal, and immune cells receive chemical signals to migrate toward the wound site. Research published in 2024 reveals that this initial response activates hundreds of different genes in surrounding cells, orchestrating a complex cascade of repair processes you'll never consciously direct. Your body doesn't wait for permission or awareness. It simply begins. This automatic response evolved over millions of years, refined by ancestors who survived precisely because their bodies could heal without requiring conscious thought. The fascinating truth is that awareness might actually slow this process down. Your immune system operates like a sophisticated surveillance network that never sleeps. Right now, trillions of immune cells patrol your bloodstream and tissues, checking for damage, infection, and malfunction. Research from 2025 reveals these cells communicate using over 50 different chemical messengers, creating what scientists call the immunological conversation. This dialogue happens entirely beneath your conscious mind, in the darkness of your body's interior spaces. White blood cells called neutrophils respond to injury sites within minutes, while macrophages arrive hours later to clean up debris and coordinate longer-term repair. You never feel these cellular workers moving through your tissues, yet they operate with precision that surpasses any conscious system you could design. Your body trusts processes you cannot see. Sleep itself is a healing state, though you experience it as simple rest. During the deep sleep stages scientists call slow wave sleep, your body releases growth hormones that stimulate tissue repair and muscle regeneration. A comprehensive 2024 review found that people sleeping 7 to 9 hours nightly show 43% stronger immune responses compared to those sleeping less than 6 hours. While you dream or drift in dreamless darkness, your brain clears toxic proteins that accumulated during waking hours. Your heart rate decreases to allow cardiovascular recovery, and your cells enter enhanced repair modes. You wake feeling refreshed not because rest is passive, but because sleep is active healing time. Your unconscious hours do conscious work. Psychological healing follows patterns similar to physical repair, operating largely outside awareness. When you experience emotional pain, your brain automatically initiates coping mechanisms that psychologists call adaptive unconscious processing. Research in psychoneuroimmunology from 2024 demonstrates that emotional distress triggers measurable changes in immune function, inflammation markers, and stress hormone levels, all adjusting without conscious direction. Your mind has built-in shock absorbers for trauma, gradually processing difficult experiences during sleep and quiet moments you don't even notice. People often report suddenly feeling better about past hurts without remembering the healing journey itself. This happens because emotional repair, like physical healing, works best when consciousness steps aside and lets deeper systems operate. Your body replaces approximately 300 billion cells every single day, a vast renovation project happening in complete silence. Cells in your stomach lining renew every 3 to 5 days. Skin cells replace themselves every 2 to 3 weeks, and red blood cells cycle through every 120 days. This constant cellular turnover means the body you inhabit today contains mostly different cells than the body you had a year ago. According to 2025 cellular biology research, this replacement happens through carefully orchestrated programs of cell death and regeneration, called apoptosis and mitosis, processes requiring no conscious oversight. You continuously rebuild yourself without ever feeling a single cell divide or die. Your body continuously rebuilds itself while carrying you through life, a constant renovation project you never consciously direct. Wounds begin healing from the inside out, in ways completely hidden from view. When skin breaks, the visible damage represents only a fraction of the injury. Beneath the surface, blood vessels rupture, tissue tears, and nerves sever. Yet within hours, fibroblast cells start synthesizing new collagen, the structural protein that forms your body's scaffolding. This happens in darkness, deep in tissue layers you cannot see or feel. Research published in late 2024 using advanced imaging reveals that by day 3 after injury, cells at the wound center have already begun reconstructing complex 3-dimensional tissue architecture. The surface scab you notice is merely the protective roof over extensive underground construction you never witness. Your brain physically changes in response to psychological pain, reshaping itself to promote emotional healing. Studies using 2024 neuroimaging technology show that after emotional trauma, brain regions involved in memory processing and emotional regulation demonstrate measurable structural changes over weeks and months. The hippocampus generates new neurons, the amygdala modulates its reactivity, and prefrontal cortex connections strengthen, all working to integrate difficult experiences into stable memory networks. This process, called neuroplasticity, happens mostly during sleep and rest periods, when consciousness relaxes its grip. You don't feel neurons sprouting new connections or synapses reorganizing, yet your brain continuously renovates itself to help you adapt and heal from life's challenges. Mental architecture repairs itself in silence. The placebo effect demonstrates that healing can occur through pure expectation, without active treatment. Recent 2024 research identified specific neural pathways in the brain's rostral anterior cingulate cortex, pontine nucleus, and cerebellum that activate during placebo responses, creating measurable pain relief even when people receive inert substances. Remarkably, this effect works even when participants know they're taking placebos, what researchers call open-label placebos. Your brain's expectation of healing triggers real biological cascades, releasing endorphins, reducing inflammation, and activating immune responses. The mind doesn't just imagine healing, it can biochemically initiate actual repair processes. This power operates largely outside conscious control. You cannot force a placebo response, only create conditions for it. Inflammation, often viewed negatively, is actually healing in disguise. When tissue damage occurs, your immune system releases inflammatory mediators, proteins like cytokines and chemokines, that trigger increased blood flow, warmth, and swelling at injury sites. This creates the optimal environment for repair, delivering immune cells, nutrients, and oxygen, while removing damaged tissue debris. A 2024 review found that acute inflammation following injury is essential for proper healing. People who completely suppress inflammation show 40% slower recovery times. You experience inflammation as discomfort, yet it represents your body's deliberate healing strategy. The heat and swelling you feel are signs of intensive reconstruction work happening beneath the surface. Your body knows what uncomfortable healing requires. So yes, healing works without your notice because your body evolved to prioritize automatic repair over conscious awareness. Evolution favored organisms whose healing systems operated independently of attention. Imagine early humans who had to consciously direct every aspect of wound healing while simultaneously escaping predators or finding food. Natural selection preserved genes for autonomous healing mechanisms that function whether you're awake or asleep, focused or distracted. Modern research from 2025 confirms this. Unconscious healing processes activate faster and more efficiently than any consciously directed intervention. Your mind's role in healing is not to micromanage, but to create supportive conditions through rest, nutrition, and emotional calm. The ancient wisdom in your cells knows how to mend what breaks. Your heart muscle cells can repair themselves after damage, though this process unfolds invisibly over months. Following heart attacks, a 2024 study in Nature discovered that immune cells called monocytes flood the brain, triggering increased deep sleep that promotes cardiac healing by reducing inflammation in the damaged heart tissue. During this recovery sleep, often lasting weeks, cardiac cells called cardiomyocytes activate regenerative programs, slowly rebuilding damaged muscle fibers. You feel only fatigue and the need for more rest, never sensing the molecular reconstruction happening in your chest. This reveals a profound truth. Sometimes what feels like weakness, the overwhelming need for sleep, is actually your body's strength asserting itself to prioritize invisible repair. Gut healing happens continuously, as your intestinal lining completely replaces itself every few days, one of the fastest tissue turnover rates in your entire body. This rapid regeneration makes sense when you consider the digestive tract's constant exposure to food, bacteria, and digestive acids. Specialized stem cells in intestinal crypts continually generate new cells that migrate upward, replacing damaged surface cells that slough off into the gut lumen. According to 2025 research, this process consumes approximately 20% of your daily caloric intake, representing one of your body's most energy-intensive healing operations. Yet you never feel this constant cellular renovation, never sense the architectural transformation happening throughout yards of intestine. Silent rebuilding sustains your ability to nourish yourself. Bone healing involves intricate cellular cooperation that occurs entirely beyond conscious perception. When bone breaks, blood vessels rupture and form a hematoma, essentially a controlled internal bruise. Within days, inflammatory cells arrive to clear debris, while mesenchymal stem cells migrate to the fracture site, differentiating into cartilage-producing cells called chondrocytes. This cartilage forms a soft callus bridging the break, which gradually mineralizes into hard bone over weeks to months. Research published in early 2025 shows this process involves over 300 different proteins working in precise sequence, orchestrated by cellular signaling you never feel. The ache you experience represents only surface awareness of the elaborate construction project, proceeding deep within your skeleton. Architecture rebuilds itself in darkness. Your liver possesses remarkable regenerative capacity. able to regrow to full size from just 25% of its original mass. This unique ability reflects the liver's critical metabolic role, filtering toxins, processing nutrients, and synthesizing essential proteins. Even without injury, liver cells called hepatocytes continuously self-renew, replacing themselves every 200 to 300 days. When the liver sustains damage from disease or surgery, surviving hepatocytes rapidly proliferate while suppressing their normal functions to prioritize regeneration. A 2024 study found this regenerative program activates within hours of injury, guided by growth factors and signaling molecules you never consciously direct. Your liver heals itself with machine-like precision, never consulting your awareness about its reconstruction schedule. Some organs are natural immortals. Nerve regeneration in your peripheral nervous system proceeds at the glacial pace of approximately 1 millimeter per day, yet happens constantly without your awareness. When peripheral nerves sustain damage, from cuts, compression, or disease, axons at the injury site begin sprouting new growth cones that navigate back toward their original targets, guided by chemical trails and physical scaffolds. This journey can take months or years for nerves in longer limbs, during which time you might notice only gradual tingling or sensation changes. According to 2025 neuroscience research, this regeneration requires precise coordination between Schwann cells, growth factors, and cytoskeletal elements, an orchestration happening entirely in tissues you cannot see. Patient biological processes heal in their own time. Muscle repair after exercise involves microscopic damage and reconstruction you interpret as soreness, but rarely consider as healing. Intense physical activity creates micro tears in muscle fibers, triggering inflammatory responses and satellite cell activation. These stem-like cells fuse with damaged fibers, donating their nuclei and facilitating muscle growth. This process peaks 24 to 72 hours post-exercise, the delayed soreness window. Research from late 2024 reveals that sleep quality during this period determines healing efficiency, with deep sleep stages promoting protein synthesis and muscle regeneration. Your body transforms exercise stress into strength through invisible repair cycles, turning damage into development without requiring your conscious guidance. The discomfort you feel marks transformation in progress, not simple injury. Blood clotting represents one of healing's most rapid and sophisticated unconscious systems. Within seconds of blood vessel injury, platelets adhere to exposed collagen, releasing chemical signals that activate a cascade of clotting factors, 12 different proteins that must activate in precise sequence to form fibrin threads that mesh into a clot. This complex biochemical choreography happens faster than you can consciously react to the injury itself. According to 2024 hematology research, genetic mutations in any single clotting factor can disrupt the entire system, revealing how finely evolution tuned this automatic response. Your body stops bleeding through molecular teamwork you never feel occurring. Ancient protection operates at lightning speed. Emotional healing through psychotherapy creates measurable brain changes, even when people aren't consciously aware of improving. Studies published in 2024 show that cognitive behavioral therapy and other evidence-based treatments lead to structural and functional brain alterations, reduced amygdala reactivity, strengthened prefrontal cortex connectivity, and normalized stress hormone responses. These changes accumulate gradually over weeks and months, often manifesting in behavior and mood improvements before conscious awareness registers any difference. The therapeutic process works partially through what therapists call unconscious processing, your mind integrating new perspectives and emotional patterns during sleep and everyday activities, not just therapy sessions. You heal psychologically through mechanisms that operate beyond the reach of conscious introspection. Deep change happens in hidden spaces. DNA repair mechanisms work constantly to fix damage from radiation, toxins, and normal metabolic processes, damage that accumulates at a rate of tens of thousands of lesions per cell daily. Specialized enzymes patrol your DNA like molecular quality control inspectors, identifying and repairing errors through several different pathways. Base excision repair fixes single nucleotide damage, while nucleotide excision repair addresses bulkier lesions. Research from 2025 indicates that these systems prevent approximately 99.9% of potential mutations, maintaining genetic stability throughout your lifetime. This molecular proofreading happens in every cell nucleus across your body, a vast maintenance operation you never feel. Invisible preservation protects your genetic inheritance without asking permission. Your skin continuously heals minor damage you never notice. Microscopic abrasions from fabric friction, small cuts from casual contact, tiny burns from brief heat exposure. Each trivial injury triggers localized repair responses that resolve within hours to days, never registering in conscious awareness. Studies using high-resolution imaging in 2024 reveal that skin sustains and heals dozens of such micro-injuries daily, maintaining barrier integrity through constant low-level repair. Keratinocytes migrate, fibroblasts synthesize new collagen, and immune cells patrol for infection, all without ever creating noticeable symptoms. Your skin exists in a state of perpetual minor healing, continuously refreshing itself against the abrasive world. Silent maintenance preserves protective boundaries. Autophagy, literally self-eating, is your cell's recycling system that breaks down damaged components and repurposes their building blocks for new structures. This process intensifies during fasting, sleep, and stress, when cells need to conserve resources while maintaining function. Research published in early 2025 demonstrates that autophagy prevents accumulation of toxic proteins, removes damaged mitochondria, and supports cellular renewal across all tissue types. Impaired autophagy associates with accelerated aging and disease development, while enhanced autophagy correlates with longevity in animal studies. Your cells continuously digest and rebuild themselves, a form of healing through controlled destruction and recreation. This metabolic recycling happens constantly in darkness, breaking down to build up. Renewal requires letting go. Wound healing in children occurs faster than in adults, demonstrating that healing capacity changes across lifespans, though both processes remain largely unconscious. Young skin regenerates with less scarring, bones knit more quickly, and immune responses mount more vigorously. This age-related healing gradient reflects declining stem cell populations, reduced growth factor production, and accumulated cellular damage over decades. Yet even as healing slows with age, it never stops operating below conscious awareness. A 2024 longitudinal study found that healthy elderly individuals still heal predictably, just more slowly, their bodies following the same ancient repair protocols developed millions of years ago. Healing persists throughout life, adapting pace to circumstance. Biology honors its commitments. Fever represents healing in action, though it feels like illness. When your immune system detects infection, inflammatory molecules called pyrogens signal the hypothalamus to raise body temperature. This creates a less hospitable environment for pathogens while enhancing immune function. White blood cells operate more effectively at elevated temperatures. According to 2024 research, moderate fevers up to 103 degrees Fahrenheit improve infection outcomes by approximately 30% compared to artificially suppressed fevers. Yet you experience fever as uncomfortable. never sensing how elevated temperature accelerates immune responses and pathogen destruction. Your body's heat is purposeful, not accidental. What feels like sickness is actually healing disguised as discomfort, your defenses raising the temperature to cook invisible invaders. Scar tissue forms through a healing process that prioritizes speed over perfection. When wounds are too large for simple regeneration, your body produces dense collagen fibers, arranged differently than normal skin, parallel rather than basket weave pattern. This creates stronger but less flexible tissue, forming visible scars. Recent research from 2025 reveals that molecular signals at wound edges determine whether healing proceeds toward regeneration or scarring. Fetal wounds heal without scars because fetal tissue produces different ratios of inflammatory mediators and growth factors. You never consciously choose whether wounds scar or regenerate. Your body makes that calculation based on injury size, location, and available resources. Even imperfect healing is strategic healing. These observations reveal that healing operates as a multi-layered system of unconscious biological processes, from molecular DNA repair to tissue regeneration to psychological integration. Each level functions independently of consciousness, yet together they maintain your organism's integrity against constant challenges. Evolution sculpted these systems over billions of years, refining them into remarkably efficient automatic responses. You inherited healing mechanisms so sophisticated they operate faster and more accurately when consciousness doesn't interfere. This is not a limitation but liberation. Your mind is free to focus on other survival priorities, while healing proceeds reliably in darkness. The question isn't whether invisible healing works, but how it manages such complexity without ever consulting the conscious mind. Biology answers with silent competence. Let's pause here and notice your body. As you breathe out slowly, appreciate each tiny cell inside. Trillions of organisms working in silence, heart beating, lungs breathing, brain thinking, all without your command. Notice the gentle sensations on your skin, in your muscles, along your spine. You are a complete ecosystem. Diverse, self-balancing. Right now, countless healing processes unfold within you. Cells dividing, proteins folding, wounds mending, all happening in the warm darkness of your interior. You don't need to do anything. Your body knows its ancient work. Now we continue. Studies specifically designed to measure unconscious healing reveal remarkable findings. When researchers in 2024 gave participants minor controlled injuries, small puncture wounds, and monitored healing with precise measurements, they discovered that people showed no correlation between conscious attention to wounds and healing speed. Those who obsessively checked their injuries healed no faster than those who ignored them entirely. In some cases, excessive worry correlated with slightly slower healing, possibly through stress-induced cortisol elevation. The evidence suggests healing operates on biological timescales and mechanisms entirely independent of conscious focus. Your awareness of injury may serve purposes like behavior modification, being careful with a hurt finger, but awareness doesn't accelerate cellular repair. Biology follows its own schedule. Placebo-controlled trials consistently demonstrate healing that occurs without any active pharmaceutical ingredient. A comprehensive 2025 meta-analysis examining over 260,000 patients across various conditions found placebo responses ranging from 20 to 90%, depending on the condition, with pain disorders showing particularly strong responses. Brain imaging during placebo effects reveals activation of the same pain relief pathways triggered by actual analgesics, the rostral anterior cingulate cortex, and connected regions releasing endogenous opioids. People don't imagine feeling better. Their brains biochemically create improvement through expectation alone. This demonstrates that healing mechanisms can activate through psychological triggers, operating largely outside conscious control. Your mind initiates healing processes without necessarily understanding how it does so. Belief shapes biology. Sleep studies provide compelling evidence that healing accelerates during unconsciousness. When researchers deliberately sleep-deprived participants after vaccinations in 2024 experiments, the sleep-deprived group produced approximately half the antibody levels compared to those who slept normally. More striking, when the same participants later received full sleep, their antibody production normalized, demonstrating that healing caught up during unconscious rest periods. Similar experiments with wound healing show cuts heal approximately 25% faster in well-rested individuals. The mechanism involves enhanced immune cell migration, increased growth hormone secretion, and optimized protein synthesis during deep sleep stages. Your body literally knows when you're unconscious and uses those hours for intensive repair. Darkness becomes a healing sanctuary. Observation of patients in medical comas reveals that healing continues robustly, even in completely unconscious states. People in medically induced comas for weeks or months heal surgical incisions, recover from infections, and regenerate damaged tissues despite total absence of awareness. This provides perhaps the clearest evidence that consciousness plays no necessary role in biological healing. Research from 2024 on coma patients recovering from traumatic injuries shows their healing timelines match predictions based purely on injury severity and biological factors. With no correlation to consciousness level, the unconscious body heals itself with machine-like reliability. These observations challenge assumptions that awareness or willpower contribute meaningfully to physical repair. Biology continues its work regardless of mind states. Measurements of immune function show that immune responses happen largely in body regions we have no conscious sensation of. Your bone marrow continuously produces billions of new blood cells daily, red cells, white cells, and platelets, yet you never feel this vast cellular factory operating inside your bones. Lymph nodes throughout your body filter pathogens and coordinate immune responses without creating any conscious sensation unless they swell noticeably from infection. Most immune activity occurs in tissues we cannot directly sense: bone marrow, lymph nodes, spleen, and gut-associated lymphoid tissue, operating silently unless inflammation becomes significant. Your most critical healing system operates mostly in sensory blind spots. Protection works in silence. Time-lapse photography of wound healing in transparent organisms like zebrafish reveals healing choreography that no conscious process could coordinate. Cellular behaviors during healing, immune cell migration, blood vessel regrowth, tissue reorganization, require precise timing and spatial coordination among millions of cells. Each cell responds to local chemical gradients and mechanical forces, collectively creating organized repair without any central directing consciousness. Researchers in 2024 using advanced imaging captured wound healing at cellular resolution, revealing that cells make decisions about movement and behavior based on immediate microenvironments, not conscious direction. This distributed intelligence, healing without a conscious coordinator, demonstrates that complex biological processes need no central awareness to succeed. Organization emerges from local interactions. The gut-brain axis reveals bidirectional healing communication operating largely unconsciously. Your intestinal microbiome, trillions of bacteria, influences mood, immune function, and even brain structure through production of neurotransmitters and inflammatory mediators. Yet you never consciously sense this microbial influence on your mental state. Research published in 2024 shows that certain bacterial species promote anxiety reduction, while others correlate with depression. effects mediated through the vagus nerve and immune signaling. When your gut microbiome shifts, your psychological state can change days or weeks later without any conscious awareness of the mechanism. This demonstrates healing connections between body systems operating entirely below conscious perception. Your invisible passengers influence your healing without announcement. Pain itself provides evidence of healing happening beyond awareness. Acute pain serves as a conscious signal that injury occurred. But once you register the injury, pain's intensity doesn't correlate precisely with healing progress. Often, injuries hurt most when healing has barely begun. Then pain gradually decreases, even though intensive cellular repair continues for days or weeks after pain subsides. Studies from 2025 measuring both pain reports and objective healing markers show these timelines frequently diverge, healing proceeding on biological schedules, while conscious pain follows different rules related to nerve sensitivity and psychological factors. You may feel healed when pain stops, yet microscopic repair continues invisibly for much longer. Sensation and healing operate on separate timelines. Neuroplasticity studies demonstrate brain healing occurring without conscious effort. After strokes, surviving brain regions gradually assume functions previously performed by damaged areas, a process called compensatory plasticity that unfolds over months. Patients report simply noticing improved abilities one day without remembering the moment of recovery. This happens because neuroplastic reorganization occurs during sleep and rest, driven by spontaneous neural activity rather than conscious practice. Studies on stroke recovery show that substantial spontaneous improvement often happens during rest periods when patients aren't consciously working on rehabilitation, as the brain rewires itself during downtime. Your brain rewires itself during downtime, finding new neural pathways to restore lost functions. Consciousness discovers healing after the fact, not during the process. Cancer remission occasionally occurs spontaneously without treatment, providing mysterious but documented evidence of healing beyond conscious control. Though rare, affecting perhaps 1 in 100,000 cancer cases, spontaneous remissions reveal the immune system's capacity to recognize and eliminate malignant cells. Recent 2024 case studies suggest remissions often follow immune system activation from infections or fever, triggering enhanced immune surveillance. Patients experiencing spontaneous remission typically report no conscious sense of their immune system attacking cancer. They simply discover during routine scans that tumors shrunk or disappeared. These rare cases demonstrate that even severe illness can sometimes be reversed through healing mechanisms we don't fully understand. Biology's quiet capacity for unexpected recovery. Bone mineral density gradually decreases and rebuilds throughout life, in a process called remodeling, old bone tissue dissolving through cells called osteoclasts, while new bone forms via osteoblasts. This continuous renovation happens entirely outside awareness, your skeleton constantly deconstructing and reconstructing itself. On average, you regenerate roughly 10% of your skeleton annually. Research from 2025 shows that mechanical forces from physical activity stimulate bone formation through mechanisms involving cellular mechanosensors that detect physical strain. Again, a process you never consciously feel. Your bones respond to use by rebuilding themselves stronger in stressed areas. Adaptive remodeling happening silently beneath flesh and muscle. Architecture responds to load without consulting consciousness. Psychoneuroimmunology, the study of mind-body immune connections, reveals bidirectional communication between psychological states and immune function, mostly operating below conscious awareness. Chronic stress measurably suppresses immune responses through cortisol and other stress hormones, while positive emotional states correlate with enhanced immune markers. Yet these changes happen automatically without conscious direction of immune responses. A comprehensive 2024 review found that stress reduction through meditation or therapy leads to measurable decreases in inflammatory markers and increases in protective immune cells, changes that occur without people consciously deciding to boost immunity. Your psychological state creates a biological milieu that either supports or hinders healing, acting through unconscious neuroendocrine immune pathways. Mental weather shapes biological climate invisibly. Measurements of healing rates across cultures and belief systems show that while specific healing rituals vary enormously, actual physiological healing proceeds at similar biological rates determined by blood supply, immune function, and tissue type. Whether someone attributes healing to prayer, medical treatment, or natural processes, wounds close at similar biological rates determined by blood supply, immune function, and tissue type, though psychological factors like stress and social support do influence healing speed. This suggests the unconscious biological substrate of healing operates universally beneath cultural narratives. Research from late 2024 comparing healing outcomes across diverse populations found that while psychological factors influence healing, the fundamental cellular mechanisms remain consistent. Biology doesn't distinguish between worldviews. Cells follow ancient instructions regardless of beliefs. The discovery of open-label placebos that work even when people know they're receiving inert treatments, provides striking evidence of unconscious healing mechanisms. Studies published in 2024 show that even when participants are explicitly told they're taking sugar pills, 40 to 50% still experience measurable symptom improvements, particularly for chronic pain and irritable bowel syndrome. Researchers hypothesize this occurs through conditioned responses, the body learning to associate pill-taking rituals with healing regardless of pill content. This demonstrates that healing mechanisms can be triggered through learned associations operating below conscious reasoning. Your body doesn't always consult your conscious belief systems before initiating healing responses. Ritual triggers repair. So, mounting evidence from multiple scientific domains confirms that healing operates predominantly through unconscious, biological, and psychological mechanisms. These findings aren't suggesting consciousness has no role. Psychological state clearly influences healing through stress pathways and behavioral choices. Rather, the evidence shows that the actual mechanisms doing the healing work, cellular repair, immune responses, tissue regeneration, neural reorganization, proceed automatically without requiring conscious oversight. Your awareness serves to register that healing is needed, to motivate protective behaviors, and to create conditions supporting repair, but awareness doesn't perform the healing itself. Understanding this distinction reveals a liberating truth. You don't need to consciously manage healing any more than you need to consciously direct your heart to beat. Some systems work best when left alone. You're still here with me, thoughts still flickering like candlelight. Just notice, don't judge, just notice where your mind is. We're exploring healing itself, the very processes happening inside you right now. Strange, beautiful, and perfectly calm. Let's drift onward together. We don't notice healing primarily because conscious attention has limited capacity. You can focus on only a few things simultaneously, while billions of processes occur throughout your body. Consciousness evolved to handle immediate threats and opportunities in the external environment, not to monitor internal maintenance. If you felt every cellular division, every immune cell movement, every protein synthesis, conscious awareness would be overwhelmed by meaningless sensory noise. Research from 2025 on attention capacity confirms humans can track approximately 4 separate objects or processes consciously at once. Your internal universe contains trillions of simultaneous events. Consciousness filters most information, attending only to signals indicating danger or opportunity. Healing hides in silence. Your nervous system simply doesn't have sensory receptors for most healing processes. You possess no pain receptors inside bones, no proprioceptors for immune cells, no mechanical sensors detecting collagen synthesis. The sensory apparatus evolution built was designed to monitor external threats and opportunities, not internal maintenance operations. According to neurophysiology research from 2024, the vast majority of internal organs lack dense innervation. They send only crude signals about gross malfunction, pain, pressure, temperature extremes, but not detailed information about normal healing activities. Your sensory system intentionally leaves healing in darkness, reporting only when something goes dramatically wrong. Silence from within usually means systems functioning properly. Quiet is good. Healing occurs at scales too small for conscious perception. Cellular processes happen at micrometer distances, thousandths of millimeters, involving molecules measured in nanometers. No amount of concentration allows you to consciously sense a macrophage engulfing a bacterium or a fibroblast laying down collagen fibers. These events occur in a size dimension completely inaccessible to human sensation. Even with powerful microscopes, observing cellular healing requires killing and fixing tissues. You cannot watch your own healing in real time. The scale mismatch between conscious perception and cellular reality creates an impenetrable barrier. Healing happens in realms beyond sensory reach, proceeding reliably in dimensions consciousness cannot access. Healing timescales often extend beyond typical attention spans. Psychological healing from trauma can require months or years. Bone healing takes 6 to 12 weeks. Nerve regeneration proceeds at 1 millimeter daily. These extended timelines mean healing unfolds too gradually for moment-to-moment awareness. You notice dramatic differences between injured and healed states, but miss the gradual transitions between them. Research from late 2024 on temporal perception shows humans detect changes occurring within seconds to minutes, but struggle noticing transformations unfolding over days or weeks. Healing hides in geological time. From consciousness's perspective, daily changes are imperceptible. Only comparing distant past to present reveals transformation. Gradual processes escape awareness that favors sudden events. Your brain actively suppresses awareness of normal body functions to conserve mental resources for external tasks. This process, called sensory gating, filters constant background sensations from heartbeat, breathing, and digestion, unless something abnormal demands attention. Healing falls into this filtered category. Normal background activity not requiring conscious monitoring. Studies in 2025 on neural filtering mechanisms show that predictable internal sensations get actively inhibited at early processing stages, never reaching consciousness. Only unexpected internal signals, sharp pain, sudden nausea, unusual pressure, break through these filters. Your brain trusts healing processes enough to ignore them, dedicating consciousness to navigating social and physical environments. Trust manifests as selective blindness. Consciousness emerged evolutionarily for making complex decisions about future actions, not for monitoring automatic processes. Our hominid ancestors, who consciously obsessed over internal healing, likely had less mental capacity for evading predators, finding food, or navigating social hierarchies, reducing their survival success. Natural selection favored individuals whose conscious minds could focus outward while healing proceeded on autopilot. Modern humans inherited this division of labor: consciousness for planning and external navigation, unconscious systems for maintenance and healing. Research published in April 2025 on evolutionary psychology suggests that anxiety about healing, excessive internal monitoring, might represent a psychological dysfunction rather than useful vigilance. Letting go serves fitness better than grasping control. Memory systems don't effectively encode gradual healing progressions. You remember dramatic moments, injury itself, diagnosis, return to normal function, but forget the intervening healing period. This happens because memory consolidation prioritizes novel, emotionally significant events over repeated, gradually changing states. According to 2024 research on autobiographical memory, people retain vivid memories of accidents and recoveries, but vague recollections of healing itself. It got better over a few weeks, being a typical summary that collapses entire healing processes into single sentences. Your memory system treats healing as boring background, not worth detailed recording. Consciousness later cannot access what memory never stored. Gradual improvement vanishes from life narratives. Language limitations constrain how we conceptualize unconscious healing. English and most languages have few words describing processes happening without awareness. We say it healed using passive voice, acknowledging healing happened without identifying an actor. This linguistic gap reflects conceptual difficulty. If no conscious agent heals, who or what does the healing? Philosophy and science struggled with this question for centuries. Modern biology answers with distributed systems. Healing emerges from coordinated cellular behaviors without central control. But language evolved to describe conscious agents acting on passive objects, not self-organizing systems. Research from 2025 on embodied cognition suggests language shapes thought. Lacking words for unconscious healing makes the concept harder to fully grasp. Words fail in visible processes. Your immune system actively prevents you from feeling most of its activities to avoid false alarms. If every immune activation triggered conscious sensation, you'd feel constant discomfort from harmless responses to environmental antigens, gut bacteria, and routine cellular debris. According to immunology research from late 2024, immune tolerance mechanisms ensure only significant threats generate noticeable inflammation and sickness behaviors. Minor infections and healing processes stay silent. This design prevents consciousness from being distracted by minor issues that automated systems handle perfectly well. You feel sick only when infections are serious enough to require behavioral changes, rest, reduced activity, increased sleep. Silence indicates competent automated management. Awareness signals help needed states only. Halfway through our journey, we see why healing works invisibly. Consciousness lacks the sensory tools, temporal resolution, spatial scale, memory encoding, and attentional capacity to track healing processes. But this isn't a limitation, it's optimal design. Consciousness, freed from monitoring healing, can focus on complex social relationships, long-term planning, creative problem-solving, and navigating unpredictable environments. Evolution solved the problem of coordinating trillions of cells by making cellular cooperation unconscious and automatic. Your conscious mind trusts these ancient systems enough to ignore them. This trust may be consciousness's greatest wisdom, knowing when to let go and allow deeper intelligence to operate undisturbed. Surrender enables sophisticated automation. Take a deep breath and feel this moment. While we've been talking, your body has regenerated millions of cells, new skin cells migrating upward, old cells quietly dying and being recycled, immune cells patrolling through distant tissues. All this happening in the space around your awareness, in places you cannot see or feel. Your body is a universe of its own, with processes as vast and intricate as stars forming in distant galaxies, yet all contained within the boundaries of your skin. You don't need to understand these processes. You don't need to control them. They've been running successfully since before you were born, continuing even as consciousness dims toward sleep. Let yourself rest in this truth. You are healing right now, whether you notice or not, and we continue the journey. Sleep emerges as perhaps the most powerful healing mechanism operating entirely in unconsciousness. During sleep, your body orchestrates a nightly maintenance program involving every system. Growth hormone surges promote tissue repair. The glymphatic system, brain's waste clearance pathway, activates to flush accumulated toxins. Immune function shifts toward producing memory T cells that enhance long-term protection. Research from 2024 shows adequate sleep doubles vaccine effectiveness, reduces inflammation 40 to 50%, and accelerates wound healing 25%. All these benefits accrue while consciousness is absent. Your body waits for the mind to silence before beginning serious repair work. Sleep isn't rest from healing, it is healing. The immune system demonstrates extraordinary complexity, operating without conscious direction. Your body can recognize millions of different antigens, foreign proteins from bacteria, viruses, parasites, and mount specific responses to each, while simultaneously distinguishing them from your own cells. This requires a library of immune memory larger than your conscious memory, stored in specialized immune cells throughout your body. A 2025 study found adults' immune systems carry memories of every infection encountered since infancy, totaling thousands of distinct responses. You consciously remember perhaps dozens of illness episodes, yet your immune system tracks them all perfectly. Biological memory surpasses conscious recall. Your body remembers what your mind forgets. Neuroplasticity, brain's ability to reorganize itself, demonstrates healing through learning that happens mostly unconsciously. When you practice new skills, neural connections strengthen through long-term potentiation, a process occurring at synapses during sleep and rest periods after practice. You practice consciously, but learning solidifies unconsciously. Research published in early 2025 using brain imaging shows that skill consolidation accelerates during sleep, with neurons replaying activity patterns from practice sessions, strengthening connections without conscious awareness. Your brain quite literally practices while you dream, healing from the day's challenges and integrating new patterns. Night work completes day work. Consciousness initiates, unconsciousness completes. Chronic inflammation and its resolution reveals sophisticated immune regulation happening automatically. Acute inflammation activates in response to injury or infection, but your immune system must also actively resolve inflammation once threats are neutralized. This resolution phase involves specialized molecules called resolvins and protectins that actively suppress inflammatory responses. According to 2024 research, impaired inflammation resolution, not excessive inflammation itself, underlies many chronic diseases. Your immune system contains built-in cooling mechanisms that activate without conscious command, preventing over-response to threats. The body heals from inflammation by actively shutting it down, not just waiting for it to fade. Active resolution requires cellular wisdom. The gut microbiome influences healing throughout your body through mechanisms you never sense. Bacteria in your intestines produce vitamins, break down toxins, train immune cells, and synthesize neurotransmitters, affecting mood and brain function. Research from late 2024 demonstrates that gut microbiome composition influences wound healing speed, with people harboring diverse microbial communities showing enhanced healing outcomes compared to those with less diversity. You never feel bacteria producing butyrate to nourish intestinal cells, or synthesizing serotonin affecting your mood. These trillions of microscopic partners heal you through invisible metabolic exchanges. Symbiotic healing operates beneath sensation. Cooperation happens in darkness. Circadian rhythms, 24-hour biological cycles, optimize healing by timing repair processes to appropriate phases of the day-night cycle. Cell division peaks during rest periods when energy isn't needed for activity. Immune responses intensify at night when infection risks from reduced vigilance increase. Wounds sustained during the active phase of your circadian cycle heal more efficiently than those during rest phases, according to 2024 research. Your body times healing responses to align with daily rhythms established over millions of years. Your body times healing to circadian phases without consulting consciousness, following patterns established over millions of years. Internal clocks inherited from single-celled ancestors still govern human healing. Time itself becomes healing therapy when biological rhythms align. Stem cells throughout your body quietly replace aging cells and repair damage without announcement. Unlike fully differentiated cells committed to specific functions, stem cells remain flexible, able to generate various cell types as needed. Your bone marrow continuously produces billions of blood cells from hematopoietic stem cells. Your gut lining regenerates from intestinal stem cells. Even your brain contains neural stem cells, capable of limited new neuron production. According to 2025 research, you carry approximately 30 to 40 million tissue-specific stem cells engaged in constant regenerative work. These cellular founders labor in obscurity, their vast importance recognized only through scientific study. Hidden reserves enable visible resilience. Mitochondria, cellular power plants, play critical roles in healing beyond energy production. These organelles, inherited exclusively through maternal lineage, regulate cell death, control calcium signaling, and modulate immune responses. Damaged mitochondria signal cells to self-destruct, preventing accumulation of dysfunctional cells that could become cancerous. Research from early 2024 reveals mitochondria also release factors promoting wound healing and tissue regeneration. Yet you never feel mitochondria working inside every cell, producing ATP molecules or releasing healing signals. These ancient bacterial symbionts enable healing through biochemical pathways operating completely outside awareness. Microscopic partnerships sustain macroscopic life. Cellular allies work unseen. Collagen production and remodeling create the structural scaffolding for tissue repair in processes you never feel. Fibroblasts continuously synthesize collagen, the most abundant protein in your body, to maintain and repair connective tissues. After injury, collagen production intensifies dramatically. After resolution, enzymes called matrix metalloproteinases remodel excess collagen to prevent excessive scarring. This balance between synthesis and degradation happens automatically through molecular signals you don't consciously generate. Research from mid-2024 shows this remodeling phase continues for years after major injuries, gradually refining scar tissue architecture. Long-term healing proceeds silently, long after conscious awareness declares healing complete. Angiogenesis, new blood vessel growth, enables healing by delivering oxygen and nutrients to repairing tissues. After injury, cells release vascular endothelial growth factor, VEGF, that stimulates nearby blood vessels to sprout new branches toward damaged areas. This creates a new vascular network supporting tissue regeneration. According to 2025 research, angiogenesis begins within 24 hours of injury and continues throughout healing phases, with vessel networks constantly adjusting to match tissue needs. You never feel capillaries sprouting or vessels remodeling. Yet without this process, healing stalls dramatically. Invisible plumbing enables visible repair. Architecture grows to support reconstruction, all unseen beneath skin. Serotonin, typically associated with mood, also plays important roles in wound healing and immune function that consciousness never registers. Platelets store high concentrations of serotonin and release it at injury sites, where it promotes clot formation and influences immune cell behavior. Research from 2024 shows peripheral serotonin, outside the brain, regulates gut motility, bone density, and cardiovascular function independently of central nervous system, serotonin affecting mood. Your body uses the same molecule for psychological and physiological healing through separate pathways. Chemical multitasking happens beyond awareness. Single molecules serve many masters, coordinating invisible repairs across distant systems. Heat shock proteins demonstrate cellular healing mechanisms activated by stress without conscious volition. When cells experience stressors, heat, toxins, oxidative damage, they rapidly produce heat shock proteins that refold damaged proteins or mark severely damaged proteins for destruction. This protective response activates within minutes and operates in every cell type. According to 2025 research, exercise-induced elevation in body temperature triggers heat shock protein production, contributing to exercise's healing benefits. Your cells possess built-in repair systems, responding to environmental challenges automatically, restoring proper protein function without requiring conscious intervention. Molecular repair crews respond to cellular distress signals you never feel. Microscopic resilience underlies macroscopic recovery. Telomeres, protective caps on chromosome ends, slowly shorten with each cell division, eventually limiting cells' reproductive lifespan. This cellular aging mechanism operates completely outside awareness, cells counting divisions through telomere length rather than calendar time. Interestingly, the enzyme telomerase can extend telomeres, essentially rejuvenating cells. Research from late 2024 shows that chronic stress accelerates telomere shortening, while meditation and exercise slow it. Your cells age through invisible molecular clocks influenced by lifestyle factors. Clocks consciousness never feels ticking. Cellular time passes beneath awareness, counting down through biochemical markers. Hidden clocks measure hidden time, determining replicative capacity. Endorphins, endogenous opioids, provide natural pain relief during injury and healing, released automatically without conscious command. Your body produces these morphine-like substances in response to pain, exercise, and stress, binding to the same receptors targeted by opiate drugs. This creates what researchers call endogenous analgesia, natural pain suppression. According to 2024 neurochemistry research, endorphin release can be conditioned through placebo responses, demonstrating unconscious learning influences pain control. You never consciously decide to release endorphins, yet their presence makes injury more bearable, allowing healing to proceed without overwhelming distress. Natural pharmacy operates without prescriptions. Relief arrives unordered. The vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve, connects brain to heart, lungs, and digestive organs, carrying signals that modulate healing throughout the body. Vagal tone, the baseline activity of this nerve, influences inflammation, immune response, and stress reactivity. Higher vagal tone correlates with faster healing and better health outcomes. Research published in early 2025 found that vagal nerve stimulation reduces inflammatory markers and promotes tissue repair. You never feel vagal signals traveling between brain and organs. Yet this neural highway continuously adjusts internal conditions to support healing. Invisible wiring coordinates, invisible repairs. Communication pathways work constantly, carrying healing instructions from brain to distant tissues. Cytokines, signaling proteins of the immune system, orchestrate healing through complex interactions you never consciously perceive. Pro-inflammatory cytokines, like IL-1 and TNF-alpha, initiate immune responses and promote fever. Anti-inflammatory cytokines like IL-10 later resolve inflammation. This cytokine balance determines healing quality and duration. According to 2024 immunology research, circadian rhythms, sleep patterns, and stress levels all influence cytokine production, creating feedback loops between behavior and immunity. Your lifestyle choices alter cytokine profiles without conscious awareness of these molecular mediators. Chemical messengers negotiate invisible treaties between immune cells, coordinating trillion cell armies toward common goals. Molecular dialogue enables cellular cooperation. Extracellular matrix, the structural network surrounding cells, provides scaffolding for tissue repair and continuously remodels throughout life. This matrix, composed of collagen, elastin, and glycoproteins, doesn't simply provide passive support, it actively signals cells about their environment, influencing cell behavior and fate. Research from mid-2024 reveals that matrix stiffness, composition, and architecture determine whether cells proliferate, differentiate, or migrate, critical decisions for tissue repair. You never feel your extracellular matrix adjusting its properties or signaling your cells, yet this dynamic scaffold enables organized healing. Invisible frameworks guide visible form. Architecture shapes the builders who rebuild the architecture, a recursive process beyond awareness. Apoptosis, programmed cell death, represents healing through controlled destruction. Damaged cells that cannot be repaired trigger their own demise, preventing accumulation of dysfunctional cells that might become cancerous or inflammatory. This cellular suicide happens throughout your body constantly, removing approximately 50 to 70 billion cells daily. According to 2025 cell biology research, apoptosis proceeds through an orderly dismantling process, with dying cells packaging their contents for easy removal by phagocytes. You never feel trillions of cells dying inside you, yet this death serves life by maintaining tissue health. Controlled endings enable renewal. Death feeds healing when properly choreographed. The endocrine system coordinates healing through hormones traveling via bloodstream to distant tissues, creating whole body effects without conscious direction. Cortisol, growth hormone, thyroid hormones, insulin, and dozens of other hormones influence healing rates and immune function. Stress chronically elevates cortisol, suppressing immune responses. Sleep enhances growth hormone, promoting tissue repair. Research from 2024 demonstrates that hormonal imbalances, whether from disease, medication, or lifestyle, dramatically affect healing capacity. Your endocrine glands continuously adjust hormone production based on current conditions, orchestrating body-wide responses without consulting consciousness. Chemical broadcasts coordinate distant tissues. Hormonal tides wash through body, carrying instructions cells obey without conscious permission. Fast receptors on cells enable immune-mediated cell death that eliminates damaged or infected cells without inflammation. Natural killer cells and cytotoxic T cells trigger these death receptors on target cells, inducing apoptosis more cleanly than physical cell destruction. This process removes threats with minimal collateral damage to surrounding healthy tissue. According to early 2025 research, Phas-mediated cell death occurs constantly throughout tissues, removing precancerous cells, virus-infected cells, and aged cells that escaped normal apoptosis. You never feel immune cells triggering death receptors on specific target cells, yet this targeted elimination maintains tissue integrity. Precision killing enables clean healing. Mechanotransduction, cells' ability to sense and respond to physical forces, influences healing through pathways you never feel. When tissues experience tension, compression, or shear forces, specialized proteins in cell membranes detect these mechanical stimuli and convert them into chemical signals that alter gene expression. Research from late 2024 shows that appropriate mechanical loading accelerates bone healing, influences scar formation, and affects stem cell differentiation. Your cells constantly feel physical forces and adjust their healing programs accordingly. Without your conscious awareness of these mechanical signals, cells have their own sense of touch, independent of consciousness. Physical environment shapes cellular decisions silently. Oxidative stress and antioxidant systems demonstrate biochemical healing balance operating automatically. Normal metabolism produces reactive oxygen species, free radicals, that damage cellular components. Antioxidant enzymes, superoxide dismutase, catalase, glutathione peroxidase, continuously neutralize these threats, preventing accumulation of oxidative damage. When oxidative stress exceeds antioxidant capacity, cells experience damage and aging acceleration. According to 2025 research, this oxidative balance shifts constantly based on stress, nutrition, exercise, and sleep, factors you control behaviorally but don't consciously regulate biochemically. Your cells fight oxidative fires you never see, maintaining chemical equilibrium beneath awareness. Molecular maintenance protects fragile machinery. DNA methylation, chemical modifications to DNA that don't change genetic code, regulates gene expression and influences healing capacity through epigenetic mechanisms. Stress, nutrition, and environmental exposures alter methylation patterns, essentially reprogramming cells to express different sets of genes. Research from early 2024 shows methylation changes during healing, with specific genes activated or silenced to promote repair. These epigenetic shifts happen without conscious awareness or control, representing cellular-level learning from experience. Your genome adapts to environmental challenges through mechanisms you never feel. Chemical editing adjusts genetic expression without altering underlying code. Invisible annotations change how instructions are read. The complement system, a cascade of 30+ proteins, provides rapid immune defense that activates within seconds of infection, operating entirely automatically. Like blood clotting, complement activation follows a precise sequence where each protein activates the next, ultimately marking pathogens for destruction or directly destroying pathogen membranes. This system evolved over 600 million years ago, predating consciousness itself. According to 2024 immunology research, complement proteins continuously circulate in inactive forms, ready to cascade into action without requiring conscious recognition of threats. Ancient molecular defenses protect modern bodies through processes consciousness never touches. Primordial protection persists unchanged, cascading through predetermined sequences toward elimination of invaders. These mechanisms reveal healing as a deeply integrated biological system, spanning multiple levels of organization, from molecules to cells to tissues to whole organisms. Each level operates with partial autonomy, yet coordinates with other levels through biochemical signals, creating emergent properties that individual components cannot achieve alone. You exist as a healing ecosystem where trillions of cells cooperate without central coordination, each following local rules that generate coherent organism-level healing. This distributed intelligence, healing without a conscious controller, represents one of biology's most remarkable achievements. Consciousness observes outcomes, but doesn't orchestrate the machinery producing them. Your body is a democracy of healing processes, not a hierarchy requiring conscious leadership. Complexity self-organizes. Almost there. Relax even deeper now. Think about cycles. Your breath cycles. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. A small rhythm within the vast universe. Cells are born, live their purpose, and die, replaced by new cells carrying on the work. Tissues break down and rebuild. Day turns to night. Sleep turns to waking. Everything moves in cycles, circles, endless patterns, like planets rotating, like seasons changing. You are also part of those eternal movements. You don't need to hold on to anything. Let everything unfold in its perfect order, like the Earth rotating in its orbit, unhurried, unresisting, simply existing. Your healing follows these same timeless patterns. Trust the cycle. We'll continue with the final facts. Healing works invisibly because biology learned over billions of years that consciousness makes an unreliable healer. Early life forms lacking consciousness still healed, passing successful healing genes to descendants. When consciousness emerged millions of years later, evolution didn't replace automatic healing with conscious control. It added consciousness alongside existing systems. Your conscious mind excels at deliberate planning, social cooperation, and creative problem-solving. But healing billions of cells simultaneously requires processing power consciousness cannot achieve. Letting unconscious systems handle healing freed consciousness for other tasks survival required. Division of labor emerged. Consciousness handles external world navigation, while ancient cellular wisdom heals internal damage. Complementary intelligence systems collaborate. We are healing, even now, in this quiet moment. While you've listened to these words, your body replaced millions of cells, your immune system cleared damaged proteins, your brain consolidated new memories. Healing doesn't wait for attention or permission. It simply proceeds, faithful as tides, patient as geology. This realization can be deeply comforting. You don't need to manage healing any more than you need to remember to breathe. The wisdom of 4 billion years of evolution flows through you, carrying ancient instructions written in molecular language. Your conscious mind cannot read, but your cells fluently speak. The invisible nature of healing reveals a profound truth about existence. Most of what sustains life happens beyond awareness. You don't consciously digest food, regulate temperature, balance pH, or coordinate muscle contractions for each heartbeat. Healing joins this vast unconscious maintenance that makes conscious life possible. Your awareness represents a thin layer floating atop an ocean of automatic processes. This shouldn't diminish consciousness's value. Rather, it highlights how consciousness depends on and is made possible by unconscious support systems. Awareness is the tip of biology's iceberg. Beneath surface, depths sustain everything. Accepting that healing happens beyond your control can reduce the anxiety that often impairs healing. When people feel they must consciously manage recovery, they often experience stress that elevates cortisol and suppresses immunity. Research shows that people who trust their body's healing capacity and avoid excessive monitoring actually heal faster. This paradox reveals truth. Trying to control healing can interfere with it. Letting go enables natural processes to proceed unimpeded. Your body doesn't need micromanagement. It needs supportive conditions like adequate sleep, nutrition, and rest. Trust serves better than vigilance. Healing connects you to all life throughout Earth's history. The cellular repair mechanisms in your body are fundamentally the same as those in bacteria, plants, insects, fish, and every animal that ever lived. DNA repair enzymes, protein folding mechanisms, and membrane healing pathways are conserved across billions of years, passed from ancestor to descendant in an unbroken chain leading to you. When your cells heal, they use molecular tools invented before complex life existed. You participate in healing processes older than mountains, older than oxygen atmosphere. Ancient wisdom flows through modern bodies. The fact that healing works without consciousness suggests something profound about the nature of intelligence itself. Intelligence doesn't require awareness. The smart behavior of immune cells seeking pathogens, of fibroblasts organizing into healing patterns, of neurons forming new connections, demonstrates intelligence operating below consciousness. Your body contains billions of problem-solving entities, making context-appropriate decisions without centralized conscious control. This distributed intelligence challenges assumptions that only conscious minds think. Perhaps consciousness is just one form of intelligence among many. Cells respond intelligently to their environment, making context-appropriate decisions through biochemical signaling pathways, a form of biological problem-solving that requires no conscious thought. Your healing happens in the same darkness, where stars form in distant nebulae, hidden from direct observation, proceeding through natural law without conscious intent. Just as gravity shapes stellar nurseries without consciousness, cellular forces shape healing tissues without awareness. Both processes follow physical and chemical principles, creating ordered complexity from simpler components. The universe builds galaxies and heals bodies through similar blind algorithms, neither process requiring consciousness to guide them. Creation and repair are universal patterns. You are the universe healing itself, one small piece of cosmic self-repair happening in human form. The invisible healing happening right now inside you connects you to this present moment more thoroughly than any conscious focus could. Every cell engaged in repair anchors you in now, not yesterday's injury or tomorrow's recovery, but present moment's reconstruction. Healing always happens in the now, never in remembered past or anticipated future. This makes healing a profound meditation on impermanence and process. You are not a fixed thing but an ongoing event, constantly becoming rather than being. Process precedes identity. You are a verb disguised as a noun. Healing reveals that your boundaries are less solid than they seem. You continuously exchange matter with environment, breathing air, eating food, shedding cells, so your body is more like a wave pattern in matter, a consistent form maintained by flowing material rather than static structure. Healing makes this permeable boundary obvious. Materials from outside become part of healing tissues. Waste products flow outward. Immune cells traffic between tissues and bloodstream. You are both more open and more resilient than intuition suggests. Permeability paradoxically enables stability. Boundaries flow. The question shifts from why does healing work invisibly to what does invisible healing teach about trust? Your body asks you to trust processes you cannot verify, control, or even perceive. Radical trust in biological intelligence you didn't create and cannot command. This trust mirrors spiritual or philosophical perspectives on surrender, accepting limits of conscious control while having faith in deeper wisdom. Whether you call it biology, nature, or something more, the message remains: some aspects of existence work better when consciousness relinquishes control. Wisdom sometimes means trusting what you cannot see or understand. Healing's invisibility protects consciousness from overwhelm. If you felt every cellular repair, every immune response, every protein synthesis, conscious experience would be flooded with meaningless sensory noise, preventing you from attending to external survival requirements. Evolution's gift was not making healing conscious, but making it unconscious, freeing awareness for tasks requiring deliberate attention. Sensory filtering that hides healing reflects sophisticated design, not limitation. Your ignorance of internal maintenance liberates you to focus outward. What seems like blindness is actually strategic allocation of limited attentional resources. Selective awareness enables functional consciousness. The reliability of unconscious healing demonstrates that biological systems can be more trustworthy than conscious control. Consciousness makes errors, gets distracted, forgets important steps. Automated biological processes fail rarely, having been refined by billions of years of selective pressure against malfunction. Evolution eliminated unreliable healing genes, preserving only the most robust mechanisms. When you sleep, healing doesn't stop. Because consciousness departed, it often accelerates. This suggests consciousness isn't necessary for complex biological coordination. Systems can be both sophisticated and automatic. Reliability increases when critical processes bypass consciousness entirely. Healing happens whether you believe in it or not, whether you understand it or not, whether you notice it or not. This independence from belief and awareness makes healing fundamentally different from many conscious processes. You must believe you can learn something new to learn it. You must be aware of a problem to consciously solve it. But healing requires neither belief nor awareness, only biological viability. This makes healing more fundamental than consciousness itself. Healing is substrate supporting conscious experience, not product of conscious experience. Body precedes and enables mind. We carry within us the same healing mechanisms that operated in our evolutionary ancestors millions of years ago, the same molecular pathways that healed dinosaurs, fish, and single-celled organisms. Healing is deeply conservative, using ancient tools that predate our species by vast temporal gulfs. This biological conservatism means human healing shares fundamental mechanisms with creatures separated from us by billions of years of evolution. We are all children of the same ancient healing systems. Universal medicine flows through every living thing. Life itself is the greatest physician, older than mountains. So could invisible healing change how we understand existence itself? It already has. Recognizing that complex, intelligent processes operate outside consciousness challenges assumptions about the primacy of awareness. You are not primarily a conscious mind using a body. You are a biological system within which consciousness emerged to handle specific tasks. Most of what you are happens below awareness. In the ancient cellular intelligence sustaining life, consciousness is the sparkle on a vast ocean, beautiful but not the ocean itself. Rethinking identity around this truth transforms everything. Mystery dwells in depths. The invisible healing within you mirrors larger cycles of decay and renewal throughout the cosmos. Stars dying and being reborn from their ashes, forests regenerating after fires, oceans absorbing carbon and producing oxygen. Everything that lives also heals, repairs, reconstructs. From subatomic particles to galaxies, the universe tends toward patterns that self-correct, self-organize, self-repair. You are a small instance of universal tendency toward maintaining order against entropy. Healing is cosmic principle made flesh. Creation and destruction dance eternally, each enabling the other. Your wounds heal in the same darkness where life first emerged from chemical soup, where evolution designed the first self-replicating molecules, where consciousness eventually awakened in neural networks. That primordial darkness still exists within you, the dark interior of your body, where light never reaches, but healing happens constantly. You carry ancient darkness within modern form. And in that darkness, ancient processes continue their patient work. Healing happens where light doesn't go, where consciousness doesn't see, in the black depths supporting visible life. Darkness creates more than it destroys. The peace available in trusting invisible healing extends beyond physical body to emotional and psychological realms. You cannot consciously control how your mind integrates trauma, how memories consolidate, how meanings shift over time. Like physical healing, psychological healing happens through processes consciousness cannot direct. Dream processing, unconscious reappraisal, gradual desensitization. Trying to consciously force psychological healing often backfires, but creating supportive conditions, safety, rest, relationships, therapy, allows natural psychological healing processes to proceed. Mental healing follows principles similar to physical repair. Trust applies to minds too. Every cell currently repairing damage in your body is doing so through knowledge written in DNA long before you were born, inherited instructions refined by evolution and passed down through generations. You personally contribute nothing to cellular level healing except providing conditions supporting it. This humbles personal identity. You are not self-made but inherited, carrying gifts from ancestors who survived long enough to reproduce precisely because their bodies healed effectively. You exist as a beneficiary of successful ancestral healing. Evolution's gift courses through you. Inheritance precedes individual effort. The invisible work of healing demonstrates that absence of awareness doesn't equal absence of significance. The most important processes sustaining you happen beyond conscious perception, not because they're unimportant, but because they're too important to trust to consciousness's limited attention. Critical systems operate beneath awareness as a safety feature, not a failure. What you cannot see often matters more than what you can. Blindness to the vital protects vital systems from interference. Ignorance sometimes preserves rather than endangers. Invisible foundation supports visible structure. Healing teaches that some of life's most profound truths cannot be directly experienced, only inferred from effects. You never feel DNA repairing itself, yet its repair enables your existence. You never sense neurons forming new connections, yet their plasticity enables learning. Life's foundations hide from direct perception, knowable only through reasoning from consequences. This mirrors existence's deeper mysteries, consciousness itself, the nature of time, whether meaning is inherent or imposed. Perhaps the most important things always operate beyond direct experience. Evidence whispers where experience stays silent. In the end, asking why does healing work invisibly is like asking why hearts beat or lungs breathe without conscious direction, because biological efficiency requires automatic operation of critical systems. What's remarkable isn't that healing is unconscious, but that consciousness exists at all, emerging from unconscious biological processes, like a flame appearing from chemical reactions. Consciousness is the unexpected phenomenon. Unconscious biological intelligence is the ancient foundation. The question inverts, not why unconscious processes, but why consciousness arose from them. Awareness is the surprise. Your body has been healing you since you were a single cell, before you had nerves or brain or consciousness. That first cell divided successfully because its DNA repair mechanisms worked. Its membrane could heal ruptures. Its organelles could manage stress. Healing is more fundamental to your existence than consciousness, thought, or identity. Before you could think I am, healing made possible the biological continuity enabling that thought. Healing precedes thinking. Being precedes knowing being. Existence requires maintenance more than awareness. What we call healing is really just life continuing, the biological imperative to maintain organization against entropy, to persist despite damage and decay. Every living thing, from bacteria to humans, shares this imperative written in the deepest grammar of life. Healing isn't separate from living. It's how living persists through time. You heal because you live. You live because ancestors healed successfully enough to reproduce. The question isn't whether healing works invisibly, but whether anything else could work any other way. Life is healing. The real change isn't in understanding how healing works. It's in accepting that you don't need to understand, control, or even notice healing for it to work perfectly. Healing asks nothing from consciousness except to not interfere. This may be healing's final lesson. Sometimes the deepest wisdom is knowing when to let go, when to trust, when to surrender control to intelligence older and more reliable than individual awareness. Your body knows. Consciousness can rest. Healing happens in your sleep, your rest, your letting go. Trust the darkness where healing lives. And so, our quiet journey through invisible healing comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from cellular repair happening in darkness to psychological integration during sleep, discovering along the way that healing works most powerfully when consciousness steps aside. From wounded cells silently rebuilding themselves to immune systems patrolling unseen, we've glimpsed how healing is both ancient and automatic, both complex and trustworthy. Invisible healing, reminds us that most of life's essential processes happen beyond awareness. Much of what sustains us operates in silence, in the dark interior spaces where consciousness cannot reach, in the patient biological wisdom that predates thought itself. It teaches us that trust sometimes means releasing control, that wisdom can mean accepting what we cannot see, that the deepest intelligence often works when consciousness steps aside. By pausing to consider these hidden processes, we glimpse the extraordinary in the ordinary. And now, in these final moments, take the deepest breath you can, as deep as possible. Think about healing, how every cell in your body carries instructions older than mountains, how processes refined across billions of years flow through you right now. You are not separate from this ancient intelligence. You are its latest expression, its current form. The healing happening inside you connects you to all life, past, present, future, all participating in the same fundamental drive to persist, repair, endure. Let your entire being dissolve into this truth, that healing happens, whether you watch or not, whether you wake or sleep, whether you live or die. Life continues its patient work. Prepare for deep sleep. No boundaries left. Only peace, only trust, only the ancient darkness where healing has always lived. If this thoughtful exploration of healing made you feel less alone, whisper it forward to someone awake tonight. It may bring comfort to one more wandering consciousness, one more person learning to trust what they cannot see, one quiet share, one peaceful night at a time. But there's no need to do anything now, nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight, farther than most journeys take you. You can allow these thoughts of healing to fade now, like medicine dissolving into bloodstream, leaving only the deep calm behind. Let your breathing deepen, let your body feel heavier, as if gravity itself increases slightly, gently pulling you down into the mattress, into the earth beneath. If sleep comes, let it carry you like ocean currents, smoothly, inevitably, into a realm where time and worry no longer matter, where your body can do its best healing work undisturbed. If your eyes are still open, another journey awaits. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and warm. Tomorrow, your cells will still be regenerating. Your immune system will still be patrolling. Your brain will still be integrating. But tonight belongs to stillness. Tonight belongs to the ancient healing that works best in darkness. Rest well, gentle healer. And remember, healing happens whether you notice or not. Trust the wisdom deeper than consciousness. Trust the darkness where life repairs itself. Your body knows the way home. Fall asleep to gentle facts, where science meets sleep. Dream deeper with bedtime science. Relax, listen, and drift into sleep. Good night.